Oh, we're live on Everyday Ethics. I'm your host, Michael Liebowitz. My co host, Persephone, is here as well. We're ready to rock and roll. We love super chats and super stickers and great conversation. Let's have at it. Go ahead, Persephone.
Please don't forget to follow us on Twitch and also find all of the shows on Spotify. And if you listen on Spotify, leave a rating and share because it helps with the algorithm. Also, consider becoming a channel member because it's a good way to support the channel and continue the good work of spreading the rational alternative. That's all I have to say. We have a I don't I don't know if this is a question or just a story from Akira, uh, which has to do with pride. So I'm going to read this. So Akira says, when I was a kid, like 6 or 7 years old, an uncle went to San Francisco with his wife, and he made a joke about how expensive rent was. He said, "You know why I know everyone is gay in San Francisco? Because you can't afford rent on a single paycheck, and if both gotta work, then both are gonna be men." I didn't know he was kidding because, funnily enough, I started to think about it and came to the conclusion that being gay was superior and tried to be gay. Obviously, I couldn't. I liked girls too much, but mind you, I was a kid and couldn't just choose to be gay. I was sad and remember being depressed for the entire summer because I couldn't just choose to be gay, and I took it as a personal failing. It wasn't until my uncle came to visit again that he explained the joke because I asked him. He thought it was funny, but I didn't because I took it seriously. Michael shared a meme about choosing to be gay, and it reminded me of this. If I could choose to be gay, why do people still think LG? I think he meant if I couldn't choose to be
I
gay.
think so,
Why do
yeah.
people still think LGBT people can just choose to be straight? I felt bad for a joke. Just imagine how much worse I would have felt if my uncle told me it was indeed a moral failing, because that's exactly what it feels like to LGBT kids who are told to be straight.
Yeah, whenever I have this discussion and people tell me it's a choice, I'm like, so you could choose this then? Like, it's just, you actually are attracted to men if you're a guy. You're just choosing not to. I mean, for one thing, I don't make the choice of what I'm attracted to
No,
ever. Never.
no.
I never once look around at a bunch of women and say, I think I'll be attracted to her, not her. Oh, over here. Uh, Jim Valiant is going to come in with the Karen Horney stuff that we can get to, the emotional shoulds. So yeah, it's just dumb. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's unfortunate. There are no moral or immoral feelings. Let's put it that way. Actions have moral components to them. Um, this one does not. If you're gay, if it's a consensual relationship, nobody is being harmed. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. So rock on. Jim with there are no emotional shoulds. So I'm going to send my Googler out there and you're going to look up the tyranny of the shoulds. And then you're going to read it to us and we'll discuss that for a minute or so. And then we'll get to another topic.
So,
But
just on,
no,
just
no,
on
no,
a kid.
no, 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 no. We're gonna Google.
Okay. The tyranny of the shoulds describes the exhausting habit of operating under rigid, unrealistic expectations of what you believe you ought to do, feel, or be, rather than what you actually want or can realistically achieve. Oh my God! This is kind of what I wanted to talk about, and then I didn't know if it was a good idea.
Okay. What were you gonna say before I was joking and interrupted you and said no?
Oh, so about being gay. So in this is like random, slightly tangential. In the Mormon church, where I was raised, they believe that it's
Lucky
wrong.
you.
Yeah, so fun. I actually did not have a bad time in the Mormon church. But anyway, so they believe that it's morally wrong to be gay. But here's, I spoke to two missionaries about this. Because the missionaries, they have like a live chat so that you can like speak to the missionaries online.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with the missionaries about being gay, and they were like, "Well, it's fine if you're gay. Like God made you that way." but you have to choose to marry a person of the opposite sex and have children.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a really weird way to phrase that. God made you gay. That's fine. Like they were like, that's how God made you. And I'm like, immediately you've confused me. But then they're like, as long as you are going against your nature, that was
As
really
long
weird
as you're
for me.
willing to get into a relationship that you don't want and have sex with somebody that you don't want to, you're good. Yeah, this is what when you said I was talking to missionaries, I just was like, oh God. I mean,
Well,
it's like they keep putting it down my throat thing that keeps being said. So yeah, I mean, look, that whole thing is ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I appreciate it's your experience and all that, but the whole idea that God is making you to do like it's just like I heard a whole conversation I was listening to. I don't know Stefan Molinet or Molyneux or whatever the hell his name is. The other day they had a whole discussion about how um, God makes you with desires. What are you supposed to do with those desires? And it's just like when you start off your ethical discussions with what God wants, you've lost. Like you're basing your whole ethical system on a fantasy being. Now the funny thing is even if there were a God, right? Let's say there's a God. Now I'm going to do the same dumb thing that these guys were doing, but what the hell? Let's say I'm getting a call from somebody now, probably wants to complain to me about the gay pride post. So anyway, even if there's a God, why do his preferences become binding or moral or anything else? I mean, there's the old horns of Euriphro, or but I can never say it rightly. It's Plato's idea, where look it up and get the correct spelling. Thank you. Um, let's see. Let's see. He left a voicemail. Let me see if I was correct. I'm interested in this. Very, very interested to see. Oh no, he didn't actually leave the voicemail. Okay, the horns of Euriphro,
the
Euthyphro,
fro,
Euthy,
yeah.
Euthyphro. It's Euthyphro, not Euthyphro. I don't think, Reclusi, but thanks for trying to help. But whatever. The point is, does God like moral actions because they're moral, or are they moral because God likes them? Because if God likes them because they're moral, you don't need God because the morality is independent of God. And if you're saying that they're moral because God wants them, you're just saying that they're arbitrary. They're at the arbitrary whim of this being. So I don't find God a very helpful construct at all in these discussions. So
No.
I'm sorry that these people tried to brainwash you and feed you with bullshit, Persephone.
You know, I didn't like weirdly I didn't mind. I've had so many like great conversations with really weird religious fanatics. It's so fun. I invited Jehovah's Witnesses into my house on purpose. I was
I'm
like, "You're
so
Jehovah's
tired.
Witnesses?" Me too. I had 3 hours of sleep.
By the way, I posted my link tree to all of my social media spots. So if you go to my Facebook, my X page, Instagram, or TikTok, you will find a link to the Rational Alternative channel on which you can find great episodes, different shows, the Capitalist Corner,
And the
uh,
merch.
merch is there, all kinds of stuff. So check it out. Okay, so the tyranny of the shoulds. If you feel things and you are battering yourselves with, I shouldn't feel this way, I shouldn't feel that way, you're going to make yourself crazy, right? Should, because once you tell yourself you should do something and you're not, you're going to experience anxiety. Now, I wouldn't take this so far as when it comes to behavior, because behaviorally there are things I should and shouldn't do. If I want to live, I should learn how to take care of myself. I should learn how to earn a living. I should learn how to motivate myself. I should learn what makes me happy. I should learn what ought to make me happy. You know what I mean? In terms of what things are life sustaining as opposed to life destroying. So I should learn that I should not be getting my enjoyment from heroin. I should be getting it from good art, for instance. Jim Valiant often invites the Jehovah's Witnesses in. Something tells me that once Jim invites them in, they do more listening than talking. I'm just saying. By the
Jay, I,
way,
I want to hear I want to hear stories of the conversations he has with Jehovah's Witnesses. They're so fun.
yeah, we so now I lost my oh, Jim Valiant and I on the Rational Egoist, which I believe you can also find on the Rational Alternative channel, can't they, Persephone?
It is linked as a recommended
As
channel.
a
Yes.
recommended channel. We did a great episode on the virtue of productiveness. So yeah, Persephone, that you need to. Well, now I'm gonna should you. It's not wise to judge yourself based on the emotions that you're feeling. Emotions are often a result of value judgments you formed long ago, things you've integrated. It's more helpful to embrace the emotions, feel them, identify their source so that you can alter the underlying beliefs that are leading to them rather than just beat yourself up over the emotions that you're feeling.
Very true.
Look at this.
Very impressive. That actually is rather impressive. I'd show you mine, but it's really cold, and I'm not taking my jacket
What's
off.
worth an episode, Jim? Oh, listening to all Jim's stories. Yeah. Did I ever tell you, Persephone, what Jim did to me one night when we were talking on the phone, FaceTiming?
When he didn't let you get a word in edgeways for like half an hour.
No, it was more than that. What happened was I froze. So Jim could not hear me, but he was so wrapped up in what he was saying, he couldn't tell that I was frozen on the screen. So he talked for maybe an hour before he realized that I was frozen. But that wasn't the funny part. The funny part was what he said, because he doesn't know that I can still see him. He's thinking I'm disconnected. So whenever he's looking, he does this, he does the Mr. Magoo thing, and he says, "Oh dear, I've done it again." Again? So this happens more than once, where somebody freezes and you talk for an hour. But he was talking. It was a good conversation. We were arguing about constitutional interpretation. Jim says emotions as such are not volitionally chosen, thus are outside moral evaluation. That's vital. Yes, only things that are within our control are moral or immoral. So whether you're attracted to the same sex, the opposite sex, is not a moral thing altogether at all. There's no, whether I experience anger, sadness, disgust, whatever. These things are outside of my direct volitional control. What I do is within my direct volitional control. Therefore, it has moral implications.
I
Akira,
Akira,
you're hit.
what?
Listen, Akira, no. We're not patronizing Akira. You want to know if we answer your question, tune in. If you're not here, go back and find out. We are not here.
I also just want to clarify, Akira, we got a story, but I don't know if there was an attached question, because it didn't seem like it. We did speak about the story that you told. So, talking about like the tyranny of shoulds, this is sort of tangentially related. What I find really frustrating in my search for people who are experiencing ethical dilemmas, seeing as none of the audience wants to share their own personal problems, is seeing the knots that people tie themselves into over like some of the stupidest things. And that that feels a bit like this, right? It feels like I should feel some kind of way about this thing that I'm doing, because I need to know that everything that I do is perfectly moral according to some, I don't know, random standard. But the question I've seen people.
So look, we've been discussing this pride thing because I got more feedback on this post about the Pride Month than I've ever gotten on X. But interesting, so somebody just came out and says, and Jesus is not Jewish. which of course he was. So it's stupid to say he wasn't. But also, they're posting pictures of gay men, or I don't know if they're gay, but naked men, and saying some of us have children. I got a suggestion. I don't know, it may be radical, but how about not bringing your kids around naked people? It seems reasonable to me.
It seems very reasonable. I think people should stop trying. I think people should do multiple things. Here's Persephone's advice. Stop trying to control other people. Stop thinking the world is going to conform to what you want. If you don't like something, don't engage with it. Life advice.
That is Persephone's life advice. But I got to be honest, I'm kind of tired of talking about the pride stuff. Mostly because of the answers, by and large, opposing it are just so ridiculous that it's, there's been a couple good positions that I found on the whole topic that, they're not in favor of this Pride Month or they oppose it. But by and large, it's just stupid bigotry. So I really don't want to waste much more time on that.
So can I
try to be a half decent person? I'd rather be a whole person.
I would also rather be a whole person, a whole decent person.
I don't.
So my. Oh no! What did you say? Because now I've lost my train of thought.
I don't know. Persephone.
Oh, you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk about the pride thing, but I'm going to make you talk about the pride thing for a second, because I had something to say.
You know what somebody else told me? Because I said that the pride stuff doesn't. They're ramming it down our throats again. Bad metaphor.
Bad phrasing.
Yeah, but the thing is this. I said it doesn't affect me at all. Like I don't know where this is happening, and they said, "Oh, it doesn't affect you." But yet you're talking about it. No, what's affecting me is because of all the people that are so angry about it. I come across that far more than I come across pride stuff. At least I notice it far more. I mean, I don't know. I don't like people aren't bombarding me with rainbows on the street or running up to me and telling me I must accept their lifestyle. It just doesn't happen.
No, again, I was gay, and I wouldn't have been able to tell you. I say I was gay. I'm still fucking bisexual. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that it's Pride Month. Because who cares?
Yeah.
I can't see. I had a thought and I can't remember what it was.
That's what Akira said was going to happen.
Akira tricked me into saying the 6-7 thing. So now I don't like him.
And by the way, Akira, you are free to start your own show and have Persephone on and let her speak all you want.
That's a bad idea. Persephone has nothing to say. Do you want to talk about pseudonyms?
Yes.
Let's talk about
Okay.
I want to know what your issue is.
Okay, let me. The whole reason that I go online, right? I don't particularly like it, but I need to promote these shows, and one of the ways that you get attention for yourself is by going on social media. You can get access to a very large audience, pretty easily, right? That's why I go there. But in order to do that, I have to put my real name. I want people to know who I am. That's the thing. I guess, I was thinking, why do people use pseudonyms? And I suppose, there might be something where people like to just share ideas. But so many of the people with the pseudonyms are just douchebags. And it's just like, really? Like, to me, that's just so pathetic to go out of your way to create a fake identity so you can be a dick online. I mean, they're like, how pathetic are you? These people, they talk so tough that I tell them, look, I see why you use a pseudonym, right? It's because, one, you're stupid. Two, because you're a pussy. Because the bottom line is, and I've talked about this before, in prison we have what we call cell gangsters. They're people who, when nobody can get to them, talk cash shit, as we would say. Right, but when they're out, have nothing to say. When you are online and you feel the need, now look, like not another guitar channel's joking and says shots fired. It's a different story if you're just don't want people to know who you are and you want to discuss and debate ideas online. That's one thing. I can go for that. But when you pick a pseudonym so that you can go online and call people pedos and shit, like you're just a bitch. I don't know, and I maybe not. Maybe bitch isn't even the right word. You're a coward. You're a sniveling coward. Like courage is a virtue, right? What these people are doing is just gutless. You want to go and attack people online and call them all kinds of names and stuff while you hide behind a phony name?
See, here's where I have a bit of a problem. So like TikTok and with these online spaces, a lot of the time you need to create a username and then you don't necessarily like fill in your bio. So you're using your username because it's a unique identifier for you. And it's not always going to be like your name because, your name could be Jane Smith. And then how many Jane Smiths are there? So sometimes you start a profile with just a funny username that you thought was like a giggle. Like me, my username on Twitter is Who Prays for Satan. Uh, you know, I didn't do that because I wanted anonymity. I did that because I thought it was funny, and then unfortunately I got like, you know, now I post stuff that people pay attention to. So I'm I don't think it's always people who want to hide behind a username. I think like just the way that the internet has evolved, like usernames and going by those identifiers is pretty common. But there are a lot of people who use the anonymity of the internet to attack other people. But that's also less about, the anonymity and more like don't be a dick. It's a very
Don't
nice
be a
color on you,
dick.
by the way, the shirt that
The
you're wearing.
green. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, here's the thing. So yes, so this is what I'm talking about ultimately. It isn't just the pseudonyms. James Valiant says anonymous abuse is cowardly punk behavior. Yes, it
True
is.
facts.
And Not Another Guitar Channel says when pseudonyms bully real name people, that's low life behavior. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But yes, it is low life behavior, but to bully people on the internet for no reason, that's also low life behavior. If you did that under your real name, I
No,
think
it
you're just as
is. It
much of a
is, but
dick.
it's not. No, it's not. It's not as low life. It's low life. It is, but it's not as low life. There's something just extraordinarily cowardly about engaging in conduct where you are trying to hide what you're doing.
Yeah, so I
Robert
guess
with a
it's
$10 super chat. We can all go home. He says, I totally get pseudonyms. They can be fun, useful, sometimes downright mandatory. But personally, I avoid them since anything I can do big, bold, and as me tends to be a total time waster. Oh, anything I can't do. I'm sorry. Big, bold, and yeah, I agree. I'm doing everything as me. I like people to know who I am. It's funny because when Brent and I wrote the book, there was a publisher, and they're like, "We'll do it, but you have to use pseudonyms. You have to change all the names." And I'm like, "Nah, fuck all that." But so I've just seen this dynamic play out so many times. A friend of mine in prison was real good with his hands, and I don't mean building things. Real tough kid, fighter. And people would blah blah blah, and he would just say to him, "Okay, do you want to fight?" And they would keep blah, blah. No, no, no. Do you want to fight? And his point was, if not, then just shut up. And those people remind me of the pseudonym people. There's no need to be an asshole. right? You can come in and give your perspective, you can give your position, you can defend it. You don't have to try to come on and be insulting and think you're clever and all that shit, especially behind a pseudonym. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old, but I just think it's really cowardly, bitchy behavior when you're behind a pseudonym to act like that.
See, I agree with you, but I don't know if the pseudonym thing makes it worse in my mind. In my mind, if you're being an asshole, you're being an asshole. If you're doing
You
it
are,
behind a use, if
but do
if
you
you're
think you
doing it,
don't think there's degrees of? I mean, so yes, it's equally asshole, right? But one is cowardly and one isn't. So you on top of the asshole, you're adding cowardly. Cowardly plus asshole means bigger dick than just asshole.
I'll give that to you.
Right? I mean, you just have to you have to confess. I mean, who hasn't heard stand up and be counted? Right? Stand up and be counted. If this is who you are, if this is what you believe, come out and say it. When you're a racist, don't put on your silly little white sheet and your stupid cone hat with your mask. Have the balls to stand up as a man and say what you are.
Very true. Nothing to add there. This has been a fun episode.
Persephone has nothing to add to the conversation. Jim Valiant adds the smiley face with the sunglasses. The big kahuna. So a guy, I'll tell you something funny. You go ahead, and then I'll tell you my funny story.
You know why I think it's more difficult for me to be like pseudonyms bad is because
You use them?
No, I play online games. So in my circle of friends, like we refer to each other by our gamer tags.
Okay, I'm going to tell you 2 prison stories now. Okay? Akira says, was it fun because of my question? That I refer to as the begging for the attaboy. Right? So in prison, whenever somebody cooks, right? Like you'll cook the meal, they'll distribute it to the various cells, and you'll be in your cell eating. They invariably come by afterwards, knock, how was it? Because they want the attaboy. That's standard. They come around and they want the attaboy. Because obviously they don't want you to tell them, damn, dude, it sucked. Like I actually had to dump it in the toilet because it was gross. They want they want this. This is what they want. The thumbs up, the attaboy. So Akira comes, was it fun because of my question? He wants the attaboy. Right?
Yeah, but he doesn't get one because
he's asking for it. You should not get an attaboy if you're asking for it. That should be a rule. That's an ethical guideline. You don't get an attaboy if you're asking for it. It's like the woman, thank you so much, Nicole, for $3, who is smoking hot and comes to you, do I look nice? So my friend, here's another one. Brent had a visitor one day, and she got a haircut, and she came to ask him, do I look nice? Do you like my new haircut? And he told her, you look like a lesbian Willie Nelson. Because he wasn't going to feed into that. You're not going to get your attaboy or your attagirl in that case. No, you don't get it.
But what if your hair really does look nice and you're just
so what? Then you just let somebody comment on it. You don't have to fish. You don't fish for compliments, right? You just let it go, right? So here's the other thing. So talking about pseudonyms, I generally think that people should be called what they want, right?
Yeah.
So one day I asked the guy in prison, why do you want to be called such and such? Whatever it was. I don't remember what. Oh, that's what I like to be called. He says people should be able to be called whatever they want. I said, really? They should? He said, yes. I said, you call me whatever I want? He said, yeah. I said, Big Daddy. From now on in prison, I'm to be known as Big Daddy. That's what you all have to call me.
See, I don't know. I don't know that I'd be able to do that. That's weird. My father renamed himself. He had a name and he was like, you know what? I don't like this name. You're going to call me something else now.
No, from now on, I'm going to go by Big Daddy. Persephone, I call you Persephone because you've asked. It's not your real name. Big Daddy.
No. Akira, you're banned.
Maybe you want a different name, Akira. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no. Akira, you're banned. You're banned. 6,
No.
7, and that one.
All right. Now, Megan says nope. Megan, you're not going to call me Big Daddy either? Mr. Bubbles? Okay. Look, we're over. We've had some fun. Jim Valiant's the only one that's an honorable person because he's going to honor my request. I was just told that the shirt looks very handsome on me. No, it says Persephone was correct. Thank you.
It's usually
Megan, I'll just have it known that Megan goes by Dr. Mommy. So if Megan can be Dr. Mommy, discrimination, Big Daddy. All right, we're wrapping it up. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, super sticker. Thanks for the discussion. You've all been wonderful as usual. We'll see you tomorrow. If you've joined from X, please check us out. Spotify,
Twitch,
YouTube, The Rational Alternative. We love you all. Kira loves Big Daddy. Be ethical.